So a highly anticipated 2 versus 3 matchup, which saw Real Madrid versus Zaragoza. Wasn't the game we expected, but
Not the game Raleigh was expecting.
It's not what he wanted.
It's all right.
Hey,
They can have it early.
they're still in the exact same positions of 2 and 3.
Exactly.
But it was, I mean, it's not someone you want to see in the playoffs, Madrid, knowing that you lost pretty big like that to them. But does it even matter? It's a regular season game, and, you're obviously preparing throughout the season. So, this is a good test when you face a team that you could eventually end up seeing again in the playoffs. To me, it doesn't matter. You find out what your strengths and your weaknesses are, and, you have plenty of time to kind of work through them, but you're number 3 in the league for a reason. So, although Madrid got the win, you're still going with Zaragoza.
I'm still going with them.
Do you feel like this game even should bother them?
It should not bother them. I feel like it was a good measuring stick for them. They know now, they know where they need to improve. Right, what they did during that game was basically, they tried their best, but they found out what Madrid's strengths are. So now they could try to counter it, and the next time they meet up, they see who's willing to step up in those situations. They see who needs to improve in their games to basically try to match Madrid's player potential right now. So I would say, Z, they still have a chance being the 3rd seed, but I'm pretty sure we'll see them later on in the season.
Okay, and Darvis, you didn't have a dog in this fight because obviously you're rolling with Barcelona, they're steady at number 1.
Yeah, we're chilling.
They played the bottom team this week, Estudiantes, so we didn't really focus on that, expecting them to get the win, which they did, 74-67. But refocusing back on this Madrid-Zaragoza game, do you feel like this 2 versus 3 matchup matters, and should it really bother the losing team when you're looking for a long season?
So it should bother them, right? It's one thing if you lose. It's one thing if you lose by 2 or 3 or 4 points. Not 22, right? Not 22 points.
Not as bad as it looked.
There was no player that scored over 14 points for Madrid, and that's one of the things that you see. If you're Zaragoza, you gotta see like, wow, these guys, not one person did exceptionally well. Everybody did great, right? So you were talking about weaknesses and stuff like that. You have a team that's scoring really well across the board. You kind of gotta check the defense a little bit of what you guys are doing. Maybe the defensive intensity needs to be picked up a little bit. But to have all those guys score the same amount of points, it just shows how balanced of an attack Madrid has,
It definitely shows that. And I think this is something that Zaragoza can also look to focus on, because my pick is Madrid, but I want to see good games. When it all comes down to it.
No one ever wants to see a blowout.
When you're a fan of the game, you just want to see good games, and you want to see close games.
I'm sure the next one will be good.
I'm sure too. I'm sure they'll be ready.
I just question the ball control for Zaragoza. As you can see, Madrid scoring, across their roster. So if Zaragoza can control the ball, get positive possessions,
for sure,
I'm sure this will be a different game.
Yep.
So another game we want to key in on is the last highlight we saw with Gran Canaria getting the win over Valencia. Valencia is a team that plays EuroLeague, and we expect them to be, one of the top of the ACB, but currently they're at number 7, which is good. They're still in the playoff race. Gran Canaria is a game behind them, sitting at 11-11 at 500. But this game could come down to a tiebreaker towards the end of the season. Say they have a tied record, and it's going to say, okay, well, who won the most games out of your head-to-head matchups?
Yeah.
So it looks a little bit more important than it actually shows right now. And hey, but both of these teams should be able to, I say, pull into the playoffs. Both teams should make the playoffs, in my opinion, because Gran Canaria has good leadership and Valencia has good experience. So with both of these teams still in the hunt, do you feel like this is another important game for either one of them?
Every game now for either one of the teams are very important, right? When it comes down to it being a head-to-head matchup, at the end of it, if it comes down to that, you want to be in control of your destiny,
That's
right?
for sure.
And so you have to be able to win as many games as you can. Not so much worry about that other team, but do everything in your power to do what you need to do in order to, once you get to that point, it shouldn't be a question. It should be, all right, we're going to the playoffs. You know what I mean? So
we also mentioned Barcelona playing against Estudiantes. Now, Estudiantes recently signed Byron Mullens.
Yep.
So he's coming in, good 5 to 6 years of NBA experience. Overseas, has played in China, Greece, Iran, Turkey. So he's got some really good experience. He's 31 years old. He's been around the block. Do you feel like this is going to help Estudiantes at all throughout this season, or are they just going to be stuck on the bottom and looking at relegation?
Unfortunately, where they're sitting right now is not going to be an easy route to get up to the top ranks. Obviously, adding Byron is positive for the team, but it's just not enough to get them where they need to be. This is a potential just building move for their team for the future, but right now it's just kind of one of those moves. It's just work on the future.
Well, hopefully they can take at least some experience and leadership qualities from this move and get the young guys what they need out of it, because sometimes you do make a move like this in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
It's just a locker room move.
Yeah.
You say, okay, hopefully we don't end up at the bottom. In this league, the bottom two teams both go to the second league. So obviously you want to avoid that. That's a huge hit for your organization. But you want your younger players to be developed and get that knowledge from a player like this that's been around and has this good experience. So it's important both ways. We'll see what happens with that, but now that we have an experienced guy coming out, we've got a couple players that are looking to go the opposite way, and Leandro Balmaro and Usman Garuba. Garuba is starting for Madrid, and he's 19 years old. Also Balmaro, he gets quality minutes for Barcelona, also 19 years old, and these are potential draft picks. So they're looking to go the opposite way of Byron Mullens, and we'll see what happens. Two excellent choices in possibly the 2021 NBA draft coming up next year. So we'll continue to keep track of their progress, see what's going on with their teams. But we'll catch up with more news on Kenny Atkinson and some other stories when we come back after this.